Today, we're going to be replacing the front wheel bearing in a two-wheel drive 2015 Ford F-150. This is the Afterwork Garage. Now, if you've seen other videos or procedures for replacing the front wheel bearing on the four-wheel drive version of this truck, the straight to the point takeaway is that the procedure is very similar. You just need to buy a different hub that doesn't have the dust cap on the outside for where the axle nut screws in and doesn't have the geared teeth that are actuated by vacuum when to disengage the four-wheel drive up front, and instead has just a cap over the bearing. While the four-wheel drive hub will fit into the knuckle, without the caps on there, there's nothing to protect it from the elements, so the bearings will be shot in no time. Now, I know driveline noises can be tough to pin down and even tougher to catch good audio on camera, and I really haven't necessarily, but here's some of what you might want to look for. To replace the wheel bearing, the first thing we're going to do is jack the truck up. Obviously, got to get the wheel off. So this is what we're after right here, this inner part, but to get there, we got to take the brake caliper off. All right, let's come around here. I'm going to take off the brake caliper, and in doing that, I'm also going to have a chance to inspect the brakes. Still have a surprising amount of meat left on those pads for 80,000 miles. There we go. So it's not hanging on that brake line. Next, I'm removing the brake caliper hanger. You could actually just take this off with the brake caliper still attached, but I was replacing the brakes on this truck during this trip anyways. All right, I got some proper lighting, and I just wanted to show you. These are the 4 bolts that we're going to need to get off to get the hub off. So we might have to, we'll do these 2 because we have access. And then we're just going to have to turn the wheel the other way to get access to the other 2. We'll put you right here. These are 18mm bolts, by the way. Oh, hi. Alright, these bolts all look the same size, so we should be good there. To get to the hub assembly, we have to remove the brake rotor, and it was pretty stuck on there, but a few love taps in the center area, and it loosened up and came right off. The rotor removed, you can see the hub itself, and this is the unit we're trying to get out of the steering knuckle. There is a speed sensor on the top of the hub that has an electrical cable that runs up to a clip by the firewall in the engine bay. And it turns out the new hub actually has one of these on there. It's held on by an Allen bolt. So I really didn't have to take it off down here. I should have just unclipped it. But either way, to get that electrical cable off, you have to remove the metal plate around the steering knuckle. These are 8mm. And actually, honestly, I'm not sure I know if this is heat shielding or like debris dirt shielding or what exactly this is on the brakes. Probably a common knowledge thing that I'm missing out on, but it's some kind of shielding. That off, the speed sensor just pulls up. Grease looks good in there. It's not all gross, but this needs to come off. Alright, I actually just popped the speed sensor back up because if I have to end up reusing this hub, I don't want a bunch of crap going in there while I'm banging on it. This hub was really stuck in there, and I spent longer than I'd like to admit trying to devise a way to press or pull it out, but I ended up just threading the bolts back in part way and hitting the bolt heads with a hammer, and that seemed to do the trick. Well, that combined with ear protection and a lot of patience. So it's been a little bit. I left penetrating oil on there and applied more. Periodically, I actually went and changed my oil and did a few other things. But I've been periodically taking a pry bar and just kind of going back here and just working it, just putting pressure on it to see. And I can see ever so slightly a little bubble there. So I think some things are, not a bubble, I guess. you know, the penetrator not working. I figure it's working it in there, but also it says that there's a little bit of movement. So I'm gonna go ahead, I've threaded this bolt in so that I can see the bolt, and then I'm just gonna hit the back of it. Well, let me show you what we got here. We got a lot of rust and grime and stuff in there. I'm gonna obviously clean this up before putting the new one in. Since the new hub comes with a speed sensor, I'm gonna have to remove this old one, which looks like it snaps on right here, snaps on right up here, and coming up into the hood area, ends up connecting right here. So this is our connector, and it goes down to that suspension. That's the same pin we saw down there, or the same snap we saw down there. Sorry for not turning the camera on there. Basically, I got the hub assembly just put back in the bore, and then you just tighten down these 4 bolts. I got the speed sensor assembly all hooked up, just slotted into these 2 holes, click back up top, and this one little bolt. Of note, this thing goes on the bottom, not on the top. Now we're going to go ahead and get the rotor put on. There we are. And then the brake caliper brackets. Let's get bolted on here. From here, it's just a normal brake job. I'm going to grab our caliper here. I'm going to go ahead and throw just a little bit of anti-seize on here, on these binding points. Did you notice? I forgot to put this back on. That's annoying. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time on the After Work Garage.